You trapped in the success cage? I've been there too. Here's a way out. Welcome to the way of permanent transformation. My name's Stanley Bronstein, and this video is especially for those of you in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and early 70s. People who've built something, people who've worked hard and achieved a measure of success. People who, from the outside, look successful, but on the inside, something feels off. You may feel tired, restless, heavy, or stuck. You may feel like you've built a life you now have to keep feeding, maintaining, protecting, and carrying. That's what I call the success cage, and it's more common than most people realize. A lot of people don't fail into misery, they succeed into it. That's the trap. Success gives you money, status, structure, responsibility, comfort, and reputation, maybe even admiration. But sometimes it also gives you pressure, exhaustion, fear, maintenance, and heavy expectations. And it creates a life that becomes very hard to question because it looks so good on paper. That's the success cage. It's the place where what once felt like achievement starts to feel like captivity. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not against success. I'm not telling you that working hard is bad or that achievement's wrong. I'm saying that success becomes dangerous when it starts owning you, when you can no longer tell whether you're living your life or merely maintaining it, when your title, income, image, or obligations own you, when the very thing you built starts deciding who you're allowed to become next. That's the cage. And if you don't see it, you can spend years trapped in it, still productive, still respectable, still successful, but trapped. So let's talk about a real, truthful, and practical way out. Not a fantasy escape, not blowing up your life, and not acting irresponsibly. A way out that starts on the inside and then changes the outside. Step number one, tell yourself the truth about the cage. This is where it starts because if you don't tell it like it is, you can't change it. A lot of people keep calling it success when what they're really feeling is pressure. They keep calling it a blessing when what they really feel is a burden or responsibility when it's actually entrapment. They keep calling it just a busy season when that season's lasted 10 years. At some point, you have to be honest and ask, what exactly is my success costing me? Is it costing me my health, peace, marriage, or energy? My freedom, joy, purpose, sleep, or my relationship with myself? That's not negativity, that's truth. And truth is where freedom begins. If success is costing you too much, you need to admit it. Because what you won't admit, you'll keep defending. Step number two, separate your identity from your achievement. This is huge because many people don't just have success, they become success. Their title, productivity, usefulness, and income become their identity. And once that happens, every change feels threatening. Every slowdown feels dangerous. Every pivot feels like loss. And every question feels like disloyalty. Because if your identity's fused with your success, then changing direction feels like dying. That's one of the cruelest parts of the success cage. You no longer feel free to become more than the role that made you successful. But listen carefully. You're not just your title, your business card, your income, or your resume. Those things may describe part of what you've done, but they don't define the whole of who you are. And if you don't separate your identity from your achievement, you'll stay trapped, protecting a version of yourself that may no longer fit who you're becoming. Step number three, ask whether your version of success is still worth the cost. That's an uncomfortable question because something can work and yet no longer be right. It can be profitable and still be too expensive. It can be admired and still be misaligned, slowly draining the life out of you. So ask yourself, if I keep doing this exactly the way I'm doing it now, where's this leading? If I keep neglecting my body and sacrificing peace for performance, where's it leading? That's a serious question because many people don't get trapped by one dramatic mistake. They get trapped by the slow accumulation of this is just what I have to do. Sometimes what you say you have to do is exactly what needs to be questioned. That's how the cage begins to open, by questioning. You stop worshiping success long enough to evaluate it. Step number 4, redefine the version of success you'll carry into your next chapter. This is where hope comes back in because the answer isn't to become less excellent. The answer is to become more aligned. Maybe success used to mean building. Now it needs to mean balancing. Maybe success used to mean proving. Now it needs to mean living. Maybe success used to mean accumulation. Now it needs to mean freedom. Maybe success used to mean status. Now it needs to mean peace. Maybe success used to mean being impressive. Now it needs to mean being healthy, clear, useful, and fully alive. There's nothing wrong with a new definition, a next chapter, or outgrowing an old scoreboard. In fact, it's one of the healthiest things you can do. If you keep using an old definition of success in a new season of life, you'll keep building a life that no longer serves you. A lot of people in midlife and beyond aren't failing. They're simply using an outdated definition of success and they're paying full price for it. So ask yourself, what does success need to mean to me now at this stage of my life? Not 20 years ago, but right now, with what matters now, what your body needs now, and what your soul needs now. That question matters. Step number 5, make one structural change. Not 50 changes all at once, just one. This is important because many people can see the cage, describe it, complain about it, and still go right back into tomorrow. Why? Because nothing structural changes. Insight without action changes nothing. So make one structural change. Maybe it's one healthier boundary, a calendar change, a tough conversation, or saying no to an obligation. Maybe it's delegating something, reducing something, or as simple as walking 20 minutes a day. Maybe it's taking care of your health instead of using your work as an excuse. But do something real, something structural, something repeatable. A cage stays locked not only by fear, it stays locked by routine. And the way out begins when you stop feeding the routine that keeps you trapped. I want to make this personal for a moment. At one point in my life, I weighed 367 pounds. I was an attorney. I was a CPA. From the outside, parts of my life looked successful, but I was also trapped by long established patterns, habits, and a deep misalignment. I was living a way of life that was costing me too much. One of the biggest changes I had to make was to stop pretending that external success could cancel the internal damage I was doing to myself. At some point, I began to tell myself the truth, take responsibility, and make changes. And when I did, I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life. I learned that I was more powerful than I ever imagined. And that means that if I'm more powerful than I ever imagined, so are you. If you're trapped in the success cage, you're not helpless, you're not finished, and it's not too late for you. You may need truth, courage, willingness, and a different definition of success. You may need to stop protecting the cage just because you worked so hard to build it, but you're not powerless. There is a way out. So let's bring this all together. If you feel trapped by success, start here. Number one, tell yourself the truth about what your success is costing you. Two, separate your identity from your achievement. Three, ask whether your current version of success is still worth it. Four, redefine success for the next chapter. And five, make one structural change. That's how you begin. Not perfectly, not dramatically, and not all at once. Just honestly. That's enough to start. The goal's not to throw your life away. It's to stop being imprisoned by the parts of life that no longer fit. The goal's not less excellence, it's better alignment. The goal's not giving up on success, it's making sure your success serves your life instead of consuming it. If success becomes your cage, don't ignore that. Listen to it, learn from it, and use it as a signal that something might need to change. That may be the beginning of your next chapter. So here are 5 reflection questions I want to leave you with. First, where in my life does success feel more like pressure than freedom? 2, what is my current version of success costing me? 3, what part of my identity is too attached to what I've achieved? 4, what does success need to mean in this next chapter of my life? And last, what's one structural change I can make now? Sit with those questions. Don't rush past them, because if you answer them honestly, they'll help you begin walking out of the cage. That's the way of permanent transformation. If this message speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. New videos are released on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you can learn more or contact me at my website, thewayofexcellence.com.